There are two things that will have a really big impact on your garden harvest this year that you need to get right now before the garden season even starts. I didn't even go to work today because of the icy road, so I'm at home and me and Shelly are gonna put in our seed order and we're gonna talk about those two very important things. We know that so many people have started raising their own food because of the state that the world is in today, but it won't do any good to do that, to take that step and to do all that hard work if you don't end up with a good harvest in the end. It is really important to get started outright, and it depends so heavily on where you source your seeds and what varieties you choose to plant. So we've tried a lot of different varieties and different places where we get our seeds. We definitely found some that we do like and some that we don't like.
Our all-time favorite place to buy seeds is Berlin Seeds out of Holmes County, Ohio. They're an Amish-run company, so they don't have a website, but you can just call your orders in. It's very simple.
It's super easy to request a catalog too.
Yeah, very easy.
And we'll put the info in the description below on how you can request a catalog.
Their seeds are very well priced. They come quickly in the mail, and we always have good success with the seeds that we get from here. They germinate great, and they're not nearly as disease prone as some of the other seeds that we've tried from different companies.
Yeah. So another one that we've tried is Baker Creek Heirloom Seeds. I know probably many of you have seen this, many of you use it, and many of you like it, and that's totally okay. But somehow for us, pretty much every time we've gotten seeds from Baker Creek, they did not do as well as seeds that they were alongside. Even like the same kind of vegetables, we could easily notice the difference. The seeds didn't germinate as well, plants didn't look as nice, they were prone to disease. We kind of gave up on it, and it's really sad because they have a ton of really nice varieties. Love looking through their catalog, but it just didn't work for us, and in the end, it's gotta work.
And the seeds are also very expensive out there.
They're very expensive.
Very expensive.
I'll tell you all about the varieties that we use, and Shelly's gonna kind of take that over, so let's go.
Honestly, we don't buy just like tons of different varieties. We get the staples. That's how we keep it efficient. So I'll just go through here and show you what we get. First of all, green beans. I don't always do green beans, but next year I don't have a baby, so I'm planning to do green beans.
They're a lot of work.
They're a lot of work, a lot of picking and a lot of snipping and stuff. I like to get Contender. Those have worked really well for me. It's an heirloom variety and we love them. And
we just got a pressure canner, so we're planning on canning these this year. Usually in the past you would have frozen them.
Right.
And I don't really like frozen green beans.
All right, next up is broccoli. This is by far the easiest vegetable for me to put away. You can literally just cut the head off broccoli and blanch it and freeze it. It's way easier than green beans. So I do tons of broccoli, usually about 30 plants, but I get those at a greenhouse. I have just found that broccoli is so finicky to start under a grow light in your house. I just don't even try anymore.
So one year we actually started some of our own broccoli plants, and then we bought some from a local greenhouse, and it's a friend of ours, so we loved going there anyways. And we put them side by side, same patch, and his plants did so much better than the ones we grew. There are some things that we start ourselves that we'll tell you about that do really well, but for some reason broccoli just doesn't work out as good, and it's just a lot easier to go to the greenhouse and get it.
Next is carrots. The kind that I like is Denver half long. I have tried long carrots, I've tried purple carrots, I've tried all different kinds. I always come back to Denver half long.
What's nice about them is that they're a little bit shorter and then they're thicker, and so instead of going way down deep in the ground to get the same amount of carrot, and it's hard to pull out, since they're shorter and thicker, you get the same amount of carrot and it's a lot easier to pull.
They're sweet, they're awesome.
And they store really well.
We are still eating carrots that I planted last spring. Next up is popcorn. We're not going to plant popcorn this year, but I wanted to put this in because we love popcorn. Ladyfinger is always the variety that we choose.
Yeah, it's
hands
a lot smaller kernel once it's popped. I don't know how to explain it, but it just more like melts in your mouth.
It's tender, it's very tender.
Very tender. But the reason we're not planting it this year is because stuff we planted last year is still in the basement unshelled.
Needing to be shelled.
Yeah, so we have plenty of popcorn to last us for a while, so we just don't need to plant any this year.
Next up is cucumbers.
Which we are terrible at.
But last year, for the first time, I raised really nice cucumbers, and I used the variety Diva. So that is what we will be going with again this year. They're thin, tender, delicious.
Shelly's favorite vegetable, so we gotta keep growing.
Yeah. Next up is kale, and we're not huge fans of like the thick rubbery kale, but we really like the red Russian kale.
She really likes the red Russian kale.
It's disease resistant and it's nice and tender.
As tender as kale can be. Don't miss the ground cherries.
Oh yes, ground cherries. We haven't actually had any experience with ground cherries. We tried raising some last year for our son Izzy, and they didn't grow.
We direct seeded them into the garden.
Yeah.
And I think that was our mistake. So this year we're going to start them inside. And just FYI, we are going to be doing a seed starting video once it's time to start seeds. But for where we're at and the things that we're going to be starting, we're not ready to do that yet. So once it's time, we're going to do a video on it.
Yeah. Next is arugula. I always plant my raised bed full of greens for spring salads, and our favorite is arugula. It's spicy, it's different, and we love it.
It's kind of got a nutty flavor.
Yeah, we love lettuce. I just honestly do leaf lettuce or Batavian lettuce. I think I'm gonna do some Michelle and
basically we're just not really
Simpson.
we're just not real picky about the kind of lettuce that we grow. We're going to be using some seeds that we had from last year. When it's time to get more lettuce seeds, we just look through here and that kind of looks good and try that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I usually let the kids plant a row of peas. They're not worth it to me because they take so long to shell, and then you have this tiny little bowl of peas that is not even enough for one meal. I let the kids plant a row of them and just go out there and eat them.
Sugar snaps.
Whenever they feel like it. Peppers. My all-time favorite is California Wonder. They're easy, they get big and meaty, they turn red if you leave them out long enough. That's the kind I always do.
All-time favorite for like salsa and that type of thing, but for fresh, just eat a pepper. Jimmy Nardello is the best, and so we'll definitely be growing those too. Those are just the sweetest.
They almost taste fruity, like almost a hint of pineapple.
And they're more of like a longer, thin red pepper instead of like the big, bulky California Wonder.
And then I also like a good orange pepper, and so I'm gonna do orange blaze. Those did awesome for me last year. I mean, I was bringing in like literal Walmart bags full of peppers. I always get some radishes for the kids. They come up so fast, and so the kids just love to like, you know, seed them in and then watch them grow in like a couple days. So.
Yeah, it's really fun. That springtime bug that you get, that you just got to get out there and plant something and see something grow. You can plant them really early and then they come up really fast, so it's really satisfying the first thing in the spring.
I like zucchini, but I don't do like the black zucchini because we have so many squash bugs. I cannot even tell you how many squash bugs we have. Before they even have fruit, they die. And so I have started to do early prolific straight, which is like a yellow summer squash, and somehow the bugs don't like those as good. They're awesome. And
we like them.
Yeah, and then also sunburst. It's like the patty pan squash. We love those, and I have a recipe for chocolate zucchini brownies that are just amazing. We always do a patch of butternut squash. I use those for anything pumpkin, like pumpkin pancakes, pumpkin pie.
And it makes way better pumpkin pie than pumpkins.
It's smooth and sweet. I just think it's even better, way better than pumpkin. So we're also going to try something new. It's called honey nut squash.
Basically just another kind of butternut squash.
Yeah, another variety.
But our staple is Waltham butternut.
Waltham butternut
is
really
good
the kind that we use all the time. All right, tomatoes.
We interrupt your regularly scheduled program to bring you Adventures on the Homestead. Your program will continue right after this. Okay, back to the show.
I get really tired of the indeterminate tomatoes that just keep growing and growing and growing because
a lot of work.
Yeah, I'm always having to prune them. So I do like to get determinate tomatoes.
And so right here, I'm going to put a little plug in that we really do like to do heirloom seeds as much as possible.
Yeah.
Like I said earlier, in the end, it's got to work out. It's got to pay off. With some things, we do just end up doing a hybrid here and there so that we've got something that'll actually work really well for us.
This year, we're doing Brandywine, Amish Paste, Legend, and Carolina Gold. That's a new one that we're trying. I really like a nice yellow tomato. So the California Gold is going to be yellow, and then the Amish Paste will be for my paste tomatoes for sauces and stuff, and then Brandywine and Legend will be slicers and, you know, all the
sandwiches.
And then also Sun Gold for little cherry tomatoes for the kids. The kids love them.
They just like go out in the garden and just pick and eat like all day long.
Yeah.
I'm sure Eden this year, she's 1 year old, and I'm sure she'll be out there just picking and eating them. It is so fun and so fulfilling to watch your children going out there and just picking vegetables out of the garden.
Yeah, they love to graze. Most of my herbs are perennial herbs that I just have come up every year on their own, so I don't have to be replanting them. But I do always plant some basil. I'm going to be doing the sweet large leaf basil. I'm also going to be doing some dill. And this year I'm going to try the fern leaf dill. All right, next is onion plants. We like the plants, not the bulbs.
Right. We used to get the onion sets like the little tiny bulbs that you can get from like the hardware store and stuff like that. One year, I don't remember why. Were they out or did we decide to try something
We decided to try something.
Yeah, we got the onion plants, and it's basically like a little bundle of like a lot of tiny little plants. We planted those. Onions did way better.
We were completely blown away. They last longer in storage. They get huge.
Wow, look at that.
They grow straight up. We will never go back to onion sets. This year we're doing Red Wing and Patterson.
And we picked those on purpose because they're supposed to store very well. So.
And they do store very well. I mean, all of our onions, we've got crates of onions down in the root cellar that we grew this spring. We're also going to do spring garlic since we didn't plant fall garlic.
Again.
We forgot again.
But it works fine.
It works great, stores great. We don't actually really notice a difference. And we don't do like a ton. We just do enough so that we have it for medicine for our cow if we need it, and for us if we get colds, or just to make food taste great. All right, next is seed potatoes. I have 3 varieties that I just always go back to. I don't stray from them because they work awesome for us. Kennebec, which is like a white potato with a yellow skin. Yukon Gold, which is Cody's personal favorite. They're
very
like
tasty.
A deep yellow and they're soft. And then red Pontiac, which is just a nice red potato.
So the red potatoes we do store, but not as much. There would be more for like fresher eating. But the yellow white potatoes, definitely we'll store those. We're still eating potatoes from the garden last year, down the root cellar.
Sweet potatoes are also like just a major staple for us.
Yeah.
We are planning to do, how do you say that?
Beauregard.
Beauregard and Georgia Jets.
Yeah.
And the awesome thing about these potatoes, onions, and sweet potatoes is that Berlin Seed will ship them out when it's time to plant them.
Yeah.
So you don't have to worry about it. You can order them whenever and then they'll just ship them to you once it's time. Lastly, we are buying trees.
More evergreen trees. So last year we got some Norway spruce and some Colorado blue spruce, and we planted them out by the road. And then we planted some in the back. All of them in the back died. We just really didn't take care of those like we should have.
We didn't water them the first day, which is so key.
Yeah. But the ones in the front, we did water the first day, but we kind of slacked off then and ended up with half of them dying. So I really want to fill in those spots where they died up here, and then we might try planting them again back there.
We also really like to have some flowers just to make the garden look pretty. So this year we're going to be doing marigolds and zinnias. And it's so easy because you can just take your flowers from the year before and just take the petals and pull them off and put them into a container, and you just sprinkle those in the dirt the next spring and they come up like a charm.
And so if you want to see our garden in action, we did a video last year. We went through all the things that we have planted in the ground and why we use them on our homestead. Check that video out right here.